to make that statement.
Oh, right. Okay, hold on.
So right now, I don't see anyone from the public here, but I know that there'll be some people watching this on YouTube. And I want to remind people that the purpose behind the Climate Change Committee, when it was started by Select Board member Christian Stanley back in the day, was really looking at the town's ecological footprint, gather and explain information regarding potential action the town might take to reduce our ecological footprint, help the town evaluate, choose, and implement actions that promote sustainable practice, and monitor changes in the town's ecological footprint over time. We're not looking to set
Well, I think
policy.
maybe we need to clarify what town means. It means town government,
In town government,
not
absolutely.
the whole town.
The municipality, we're not looking to define and set precedent for individuals in the town. And people are welcome to say almost anything in public comment, but we're really looking at the town and how we can
Our
help the
municipal
town.
buildings,
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm. Thanks, Kathy.
All right. Okay, take it away, Nick.
Okay, so Kathy had reached out to me about potentially having Eversource help with some energy efficiency projects in the town, and we do have programs for that. And one of the program sections we refer to as technical assistance or engineering studies. I like to say it's usually the best place to start when considering energy efficiency projects. We have a few different. I'm
We
sorry.
lost it. No, it's fine. Keep going. We can
Screen.
hear you.
Right.
It might be one of the cables get bumped or something like that.
Our screen just went black, but
But
we
we
can still
can
Oh, okay.
totally hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a few different technical assistant types, and the one I had spoke to Kathy about was scoping studies. It's kind of like level one for engineering studies. It's very high level. We have an engineering company or an qualified engineer that we have vetted come to your municipal building and look at what opportunities might exist in the building. And again, it's pretty high level. They try to estimate costs and estimate savings, but it's a very good way to see a holistic view of what opportunities could exist in the building. And for scoping studies, Eversource covers up to 100% of the project cost. Usually scoping studies fall below our cap threshold of what we're willing to contribute. So in most cases, we cover 100% of the cost. Just for knowledge, some of the other study types are focus studies, which are if you know that there's a specific measure that you really want to look into, it'll be a deeper dive that the engineer will do and provide actual costs and actual savings. And usually in that circumstance, Eversource, contributes up to 50% of that cost, and a town or business or whoever's doing that would contribute the other 50.
Nick, I'm curious, where does this money come from?
It comes from ratepayer money. There's small taxes on everybody's Eversource bill, as well as some of the other program administrators, Berkshire Gas, National Grid, and the money all pools into a fund, and then that fund is to be redistributed back to ratepayers as well to use for energy efficiency projects. So,
Okay.
To clarify, I think we were talking, Kathy, about the elementary school in this instance, correct? Or are we talking about some other buildings as well?
Right now, that's the only one that comes to mind, but we have Chief Mike here who's going to talk to us about our public safety building. I
Okay.
mean, we have a vague idea of work that could be done there, but he's the one that lives there.
Okay, yeah.
He knows like where it's hurting over there.
Yeah.
And, maybe, I mean, Mike will be the one to say, oh, I mean, I don't know if your ears are already going,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, scoping study, yeah. That might be helpful over there. I mean, we're still on a huge learning curve here. And so, and our town hall is a mess. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's old. It's not, I shouldn't say it's a
Yes.
mess,
If
but it's old.
if it's comforting at all, you're not the only town that has these issues. If
Yeah,
almost every single one. So
I figured, yeah.
yeah. So it's not news to us. It's just something that I help municipalities with every day. And there are certainly opportunities that exist that we could find some way to assist on. And I was taking a peek at your I think it was a energy reduction plan that you had forwarded to me. It might be a little outdated, and so I didn't see any emergency services on there, I don't think. But again, it all falls into the same bucket.
Yeah, but I don't think it says emergency service. I think our fire department and police department are all in one big building,
Public
Okay.
safety.
Yep.
public safety. So,
Public safety. Yep.
Nick, how big of an area do you cover?
I cover the Western Mass territory. So I'd say I like to say like the towns from Central Mass and then Western Mass, the ones in the middle, aren't Eversource territories. So
Yeah,
anything west of those ones,
gotcha.
typically in the Springfield, Berkshire area, Pioneer Valley.
Good, thanks.
Mike, does this sound like something you would like to have happen
Absolutely, yeah.
now?
The sooner the better, yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
brought some info for you. We're
So,
struggling, so.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if you want to stay and listen, Mike's up next
Absolutely.
afternoon. You can definitely,
Yeah, I'd like
stay.
to hear kind of your thoughts, like what's going on, what are you experiencing, and maybe that could help curtail some efforts where we kind of hone in on.
Yeah. So, I don't, does anybody have any questions in general?
Yeah,
Do
any
you
questions?
understand and basically about the scoping study? So as long, I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but as long as I have you here, I haven't heard anything from Kyle yet about the lighting upgrade or how we could spend our last 15,000 probably at one of.
Yep. I talked to him earlier this week, and he said that he had met with some people in town, and he does have everything packed up, and someone else at AEG is working on getting the proposal together. He said he found out a way to spend that 15,000. Everything's on track, and that he'll be sending that over to me soon. So, like I said, they're probably one of our most reputable vendors that we'll use. They're busy, and these processes sometimes do take a little bit of time. We try to make sure that there's nothing's stalling without a reason, but I would say, he's on track with everything.
What about the
Things should be coming
lighting
soon.
upgrade at the sewer department?
That as well, I believe.
Okay.
He
And
met
then-
with I'm sorry that I can't remember the name right now, but he met with someone in
Gary
town.
Berg.
Gary,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I knew that you had met and then I haven't heard any more about a quote or anything, so. I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
I'm on top of him every week about all his
Okay.
projects. So
Go, yeah, Jane, go ahead.
So I have a question for you. We have submitted I don't know specifically what you call it, a tentative plan for a photovoltaic system on our landfill. How do we find out where it is in the process?
I'm not sure. My department doesn't get involved with any solar. This is just energy efficiency, so
Okay.
sort of upgrading buildings, mechanical and insulation and such.
Okay. Well, if you have nothing else to do, you can poke around and ask for us.
I was gonna say, if anybody wants to send me an email with a little bit more detail, I'm always more than happy to try to find someone who can provide answers.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So, the other thing along those lines is the insulation at Hopkins. Do you know if AEG is working on that yet?
That's in the process as well. I was just looking
We were
here to
hoping
see.
that could get done before school starts.
Yeah, good luck.
Well,
Yeah,
that was
that's
Kyle's promise. After June 30th, the work was supposed to.
yeah.
But I
When
guess
does out
after
of
is pretty open-ended.
Yes, it
Right?
is.
After June 30th, it might happen.
when is school starting there at Hopkins?
I'm sure they'll be starting with meetings probably within a week.
End of the month,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, end of the month. It's
For
coming
students,
soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. If I recall, he mentioned Hopkins when I talked to him last, and he said that it's all coming over. So I
So
check
is-
in with him every week to make sure that we're staying on track. So
Okay.
I should hopefully be seeing them soon. If we don't see them sometime next week, though, Kathy, we can connect and talk next steps.
So is insulation something that we can do with students in the building?
It should be, yeah. Usually they can try to make like a phase plan where maybe if there's certain rooms or areas that won't be occupied at that time, they can come in. But I also believe, I'm not sure how it works for each company. They might do things differently, but I'm sure they can come in on weekends if there are times during the week that they can come in.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, and if you can stick around and hear
Sure,
what
yeah.
and the chief has to say about the public safety building.
Absolutely.
Was it my turn?
It's
Yeah.
your
Yep,
turn.
take it away, Chief.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me here, and I did reach out and reviewed. We had a little discussion today, myself and Chief Mason, just to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything. So basically, you all know the building was constructed in 1996. We've been attempting to keep up with it. It's a wood frame structure. We're pretty much maxed out on space. We've had in capital for many years putting on the fourth bay that was actually planned initially. But that's at a cost of $4 million, which we know is not feasible.
That would be on the north side.
It would be on the north side, correct? You can see there's a grass space there, and then basically the lot extends actually to where the Cal Ripken, that's actually part of the fire department as well. That was, the Cal Ripken folks used that, because we obviously weren't using it. But that would allow for that expansion if we had to. Basically, we're trying to keep up with the structure it's aging, and we haven't had, I know we're really working hard to get a capital improvement plan going.
Mhm.
Our capital improvement plan is smaller projects, so for example, the emergency generator that was original to the building failed. So, that was a cost that we had to, we went to town meeting and we were successful at getting that.
So you have that.
So we have that. The biggest things for us right now is the envelope of the building. We have original, the rear doors, so those huge garage doors on the back of our building and the sally ports are original. We did replace the front doors. However, the hardware, the door openers, a lot of them are original as well and are just getting really tired.
So what is it? Just literally hard to
They're
open and close?
like they're getting repaired constantly. The belt will break or something will happen with it, but also the doors, I really don't think they're a very insulated door. So that's one of the
So is
other.
there a lot of leakage around the door?
We do our best to use rubber gasketing. We have the service company come in and service them to try and straighten them out, keep them tight and stuff. But again, they're just
so worn out.
they're at the end of their service
Yeah,
life, basically.
So how many doors is that?
So there's two large doors on the rear of the fire department, and then two smaller sally port. It's where the police cruisers drive in with prisoners. So those are two small, more like residential style doors, and those are definitely low on the insulation value.
Sally port?
It's called Sally Port, yep. So that's one of the big things that we actually were approved for capital funding. We have 75,000 that we're working with on that, so
would you be going for replacing those large
if we
ones?
can, so yeah, we're gonna try and either do the Sally Port or the garage bays.
So
And
75,000, is that enough?
We'll see, because there's other projects involved with that as well. We are maxed out on our HVAC system, So the HVAC system in there, it can't keep up, and it's probably due to the fact that all the windows that we have, while they are double paned, they are horrible.
They leak.
It's horrendous. We've
Schools are like that.
screwed them shut, just because the latches don't close and lock them tight. They're 1996, maybe even before that, you know, if the construction started in 94, 95. So that's another huge source of, we're losing a lot of heating and cooling out of that. To the point where we've actually had to install mini splits. So we have mini splits that are cooling our sleeping quarters. Our IT rooms have their own individual, so our 911 room has its own,
So it's not
and
boiling.
because it's literally, we found out the hard way, but we received a call from the state 911 saying that our 911 system was about to fail because the room was at 89 degrees or 90 degrees. So we have used some of that funding to upgrade those mini splits, which we couldn't take the
You had
chance.
to do it, yeah.
So that was a priority. And then just getting eyes on the insulation in the attic space. We have a lot of penetrations. The way the structure is built is you have ceiling tiles and then you have hard, sheetrock ceilings above it because it's wood structure.
Yeah.
But there's been a ton of penetrations made in that.
With no insulation up in
There
there?
is insulation in some areas, but I don't know if it's sufficient, if it's compacted, if it's.
So what kind of penetration are you talking about?
Basically, every time HVAC, if there was an issue with VAV or any of the system, a lot of times they would just cut a chunk out.
Oh,
So in the kitchen during the summer, we feel
they don't
heat
replace
dropping.
that.
No, they cut it out
Oh,
and
God.
we find it when we lift the tile up because there's water dripping.
Oh,
You know, the hot to
Oh.
cold, we'll get that kind
oh,
of stuff.
condensation.
Condensation.
Oh,
So
wow.
we've been battling that.
So
for
do you get
years.
like a mold situation
Yeah.
going? Oh,
Yeah.
God,
We have had that where we've replaced
Ugh.
tiles.
that's
So-
like.
Yeah, so it's a continuous battle. I mean, we do the best to try and find them and fix them, but it's almost like certain access wasn't left to, normally you put like a metal plate or something over that, an access plate.
Yeah.
It just seems like some of that stuff was forgotten as part of the construction. So again, the windows are another huge one, and we did have the
And the
front
ceiling.
three bay doors, which were big. We had new insulated, and it used to be all glass.
Yeah.
Single pane, looked really pretty, but it was like a wind tunnel. So we did replace those. I want to say within the last 5 or 10 years, we replaced those because they were just horrible. They ended up getting used over at the DPW on their pole barn. So we were able to reuse them.
That's good.
So, and Nick, let me just jump in because I know often windows are very controversial. It's not the sort of thing that you take on regularly. What are some of your thoughts on what you're hearing from Michael?
Well, that was something I was going to mention was in my experience, windows are one of those things that I think if I had to just say at a high level, like we don't incentivize any of windows or the doors, but we do incentivize the weather stripping if there needs to be any sort of insulation or just tight envelope around the window or the door. I have seen people submit things that involve types of windows, but I can't, like, don't hold me to the coals on it. I can't say I recall that ever actually going through, but
But I
certainly.
think doors,
Yeah, how about the large
Well,
bay
I
doors?
was gonna say is-
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Green Communities, he's
Yeah.
Eversource and it's,
Yeah.
the incentives. And I think for the doors, those outer doors at Hopkins that we are replacing.
Yeah.
Green Communities will pay for that, but Eversource,
Right.
there's no rebate or anything on it.
That's what I
So
think I recall too, was
it may
that
be
that
that,
door project. Yes.
these doors and the seat, I don't know. Well, one thing from what Mike is saying, doing a scoping study on the building, is that a possibility? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. If
We
it's
have areas, for example, that don't have insulation. So the Sally ports I was talking to you about, you open up the doors in the middle of the winter and our offices are right above it and there's no insulation above it. So they
Okay.
elected to insulate some of the, intermediate
Yeah.
spaces. So
Well,
there are definitely insulation things.
Okay. One thought I wanted to throw out there too was if you know of like an energy efficiency measure that is in need, like you're saying, insulation, you can potentially just go not do the scoping study part and just have a vendor come in and give a quote and a proposal for
Oh, right,
insulation.
yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we did, what we've done so far.
Sure.
I'm just wondering if it would be helpful.
If you think that there are other
Um,
opportunities that may exist too, yeah, scoping study helps. Usually the studies are good for we have no idea what is even here, what can be done. Can you help show us?
Oh,
So
I see,
sure,
I see.
yeah. So we
Can
could
I ask one
still
other question?
Sure, oh,
sure,
ask
yeah,
away, yeah.
absolutely.
I just had a question for you. So we did have a study done, I can't remember if it was Mass Save or something, but a company came in and replaced all of our old lights and put in LEDs.
Yep.
That was probably 10 years ago. Are there changes in that technology now that are more energy efficient, or is that?
Not really. I mean,
Oh,
if you got LEDs are kind of just right at the top. It's hard to
okay.
get past the efficiency of an LED. But for if you have a scoping study, or even if you have one of the vendors come in to look at insulation, they also do lighting, so they can also take a peek at it and
Well, that's
just
what it's
give you
sounding
some
like
thoughts
maybe we
too.
need to get AEG or somebody like that, somebody off that list you gave us.
Right. Yes.
And to just come over to public safety
If you have the
and
time,
give
that would
us
be
a
amazing.
quote on
Yeah.
everything that's needed in there. That we don't really
Yeah.
need you to come do a scoping study in that building.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that saves some
They-
time too, because we just get right to the meat and potatoes, you know?
yeah,
Cool, thank you.
One of our plans is we're working down that first Green Communities grant where most of it's spent. And then there will be the opportunity this fall, next fall to reapply, and there might be some things that we can connect to
oh, well,
public safety.
that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
is the thing for us to do now is gather information on that building. Also the two schools and start to put together, and I guess in February is when the information comes out about the next competitive grant that Green Communities will offer, what they're gonna cover. So I assume insulation will be,
You would think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
yeah,
Do they
Absolutely.
cover solar?
no,
They don't cover solar.
no,
Okay.
it's all energy
All
efficiency.
energy.
It's a wonderful program for what it is,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really tuning up what you have.
Okay.
But that's kind of what you're looking for.
Sure.
Was there anything that you and our interim town administrator came up with on the list?
Well, we
He's
went
given
through
it to
that,
us,
but
yeah.
the other part, we've been looking at trying to figure out a way to extend the life expectancy of our police cruisers and equipment that has to be parked outside. And one of the things that I had brought forward to Chief Mason for discussion, we've all been over to UMass and you've seen those huge,
Yeah,
those huge, we wouldn't need something that
The
big, but
canopies,
the canopies, yeah, with the solar on top. We've been kind of looking into that to see if that's a possibility over
oh,
there.
great.
It's just that there are a few concerns. Obviously, the way we would have to direct it might be impacted by foul balls
yeah.
and things like
Because
that.
of
So
baseball.
there might be some method of protecting it, but that would be a huge resource to be able to cover the cruises, but also provide power to a 24-hour facility. I mean, that
And you
building's
have,
open
you have a
24/7.
really good southern exposure.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that would end up, that's the kind of thing you bring it to town meeting, I think. Jane could probably say to that. Green Communities won't get involved in that, but it's still.
There are other grants though out there that might, so we can look into
Still.
those.
Eversource has,
Not Eversource, but the state of Massachusetts, the DOER. There's grants out there. I don't think we should get into like everything that they cover right now, but it's something we can talk about offline, Kathy, and see if anything
well,
could
I will,
potentially qualify.
if you don't mind, I'm gonna give out your email.
Oh
to
yeah,
be
we could all,
I'll give
yeah,
it to Mike and to Jane, and then they can just contact you directly and talk about
perfect.
all this.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep,
So,
I have some links for grants I can send you. We can look at them and see if anything that the town's thinking can kind of fit into the parameters of what those grants offer.
Okay.
So is this stuff for municipal solar? Is that what you're talking about?
Jane's got a question
so-
right here.
so my question was, are you talking about programs that would help the HVA system over at the safety complex?
Yeah, we certainly incentivize HVAC, insulation,
HVAC.
lighting. Yep. Any mechanical processes and stuff at the buildings, like you said, lighting, insulation, building envelope, anything that saves energy, which when we talk about windows and doors, I say they do, but there is some cutoff. But for the most part, at a high level, it's anything that can help save gas or save electricity, we can consider and review to help incentivize.
And Nick, I don't expect you to be a prophet on this, but do you expect that these scoping sequencing programs will be running for a while, or do you have
Yes.
pressure from the federal government or something?
Nope, we do things in 3-year plans here. The contract from the Commonwealth, and so for the next 3 years, we can do these scoping studies. I would say if I was a prophet that it would go beyond that as well, but
Well,
at
'cause
least
there's no
until
federal funding involved in what you're talking about, right?
no, but
Given what Jane
um,
just asked you about the HVAC system, that's what Chris Mason was making a big deal out of, is when you start talking about upgrading HVAC, that's when he wanted us to have a scoping study, because it's just involved, it's so
he
involved with
he
other.
wanted he wanted a focus study because the
Oh,
focus study looks at a specific measure like an HVAC, it might be some type of furnace system or something, and really looks at what's wrong with it, how's it operating right now, and if what are the options to change it, what are the actual costs, what are the actual savings. That's what I think he was saying, was to get an in-depth, engineering technical
yeah, well, the town's
look
not
at
gonna
it.
pay. We can't do that. Our
Sure.
town, we don't have the
Yeah,
money.
and that was when we talked about it. I think we were trying to find out if Green Communities money covered studies, and I found out they do not. So
Right.
hopefully that's something that changes in the future, because that's really a good first step to even getting these projects done. And I think the DOER knows that. So maybe that will change in the near future.
So a scoping study would not be appropriate for that.
It could maybe tell you like what the current situation is and maybe some options, but it might not really get into the true operation of it and the savings and the costs that you might incur. It's probably just going to say, here's what you have, it's kind of running like this, and
Yeah, which we already
here's some
know.
other options, yeah, which you already know.
So what you're talking about, the detail that we would need if we ask like AEG or another vendor like that to come in and look at the system and give us a quote, they're going to do a pretty in-depth. Would that get the job done?
Yeah, I think it's kind of falls somewhere in between where you get what you'd get from a scoping study and what you'd get from a focus study. They're gonna look at it and suggest options for upgrades, and they should have something closer to, of course, what it's going to cost to install, but what your kind of savings you're going to get. And then when you submit it to our engineers, they're going to review the calculations and confirm that. So it's kind of like a little bit of a longer path, but gets you to the same place.
Right, well, I guess what Chris made a huge point about was that when it comes to, heating and cooling, that it's really important to look at the entire ventilation system. That I guess
Right.
the school got into real trouble because they installed heat pumps without really considering what they were, this.
Everything.
Right.
But what they were gonna connect to.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
what? Like, That's good. So we just.
But it's
don't-
understandable because they had an immediate need for AC and they didn't have millions of dollars sitting around to do the whole system. So,
But I guess in the long run, it became more expensive because anyway.
that
So
can
I,
happen.
while we have you here, I'm just wondering, is there any updates on what's happening around the dike and flood control and all of that? Because that's come up as issues to this committee before.
Well, before we switch gears, is there any more on the building that you have to say?
Actually, I think you've brought up some really good points. I think we have some really good contractors that I think we actually had a previous contractor come in and do an evaluation of the system. So that's how we know that we're maxed out.
Well, as
I
far
mean, we
as that
haven't-
goes.
yes,
We
so I
got
think we
into
could-
real trouble using vendors that we're used to use. We have to use people on this list
Sure.
because they know how to do the paperwork that Green Communities requires, which is quite a bit.
But the
Yeah.
HVAC is not covered under that, correct? Or
No,
it would be?
I think it
It
is.
could be,
okay.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can use a vendor of your choice. We are vendor agnostic, but what that list does is it lets you use chapter 25A, which avoids having to put the project out to bid.
Yeah.
I don't know what that involves. Each town may be different, but I know that it's a longer process. So it's easier to just pick a vendor off the list so you don't have to go through the,
Who you know might be on the list.
Sure.
You know, it's just, we got into trouble with, what was that company called? AIM or whoever.
oh yeah, AMP Electric.
Yeah. And they just would not do the paperwork that Green Communities needs. You have to show
Yeah.
the savings that it's gonna do and all this stuff. And they just wouldn't do it.
Can Mike have a
Yeah.
copy?
Yeah, well, can you just take a picture of it and then you've got it?
I can go make
Oh.
copies real
That's
quick.
really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing the application process and what to provide, what our reviewing engineers like to see, it is a bit of a learning curve. So like using someone who's familiar with that makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Right, because this has just gone on for literally over 2 years now,
Yeah.
trying to get this work done and.
Well, and you're right, Nick, it is a learning curve. But we've also found ways to learn it. It's taken a while, but now we know.
Right, but we don't need
Yeah.
to keep repeating the
Right.
same
Yeah.
mistakes.
Sure, but yeah, it's nice when you hire someone who does it all for you and packs it up nicely and gives it to our engineers and they know it. There is one point I want to make too before it vanishes from my mind was when we're talking about green communities, a lot of municipalities tend to fall short of getting the letter of authorizations, like the LOAs, what incentives they're going to get for their projects before submitting to green communities. So
Okay.
if there's anything that you are thinking you're going to want to use your green communities money on, make sure you get all that stuff to me first. I run it through my engineer and we get an incentive for that work, and then you apply to green communities with
Okay,
that.
I've got to get all this down.
Did
So
you write this down? Because
I'm gonna make him repeat it.
Yeah,
So,
I was
applying
kind
for
of
the
using my
next
stream of
grant,
consciousness here, but I'll try to make sure I don't muddle it up.
this grant,
Essentially, yeah.
maybe
know the
you
incentive.
just called it
Sorry.
an LOA, which I don't know what that.
Letters of authorization.
Yeah, a letter of authorization, an LOA it's a letter that will give to you with the incentive on it for the project that you submitted to us. So say it was a installation project that cost $20,000 and we were going to give, $7,000 towards it or something. It would just be a letter saying, we say we will give $7,000 if you do this project.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So they know right off. Yeah,
Yeah, you get it to me and I have my technical engineers review it at a more technical level, and then they decide, what incentive we can give based on the energy savings of the project.
okay, great. So should we send that to you, or whoever we get the quote from, they would send it to you, or how does that?
If you're working, I mean, for someone like AEG or working with someone on the list, they know we talk often, they will provide all of that to me.
Right, that's what I was thinking is that it seemed like the ideal way for it to happen was they do their part, get the quote, and then they send it to you, you apply the incentive, and then they give it to us so that we know.
Yes.
And
And then
we,
you give that to Green Communities so that they know how much it's going to cost in the end net.
so we
Because
just wanna, yeah,
Uh,
make
as-
sure that we do that.
yeah, some towns have not done that and have assumed what they might get for an incentive, applied to Green Communities with it, and then they didn't get anywhere close to that, and now they fell short and they have to spend some of the money out of their own pocket
no.
to pay for it.
Zooming gets you in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that tip.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so does anybody have any more questions for Nick?
Very informative. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you
for
welcome
your
to
time.
Listen.
My
or-
pleasure. Kathy, you mentioned you'll share my email. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me, and my phone number, I think Kathy has it too, but if you want to call at any time, it's in my signature on my email. We can chat on the phone.
Okay, I will share all
Okay.
that.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Yes, thank you all too. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk soon.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And can we circle back to the dike?
Yes, yes, let's do that now.
Okay. I'm like. I just.
Whatever you do, I think I got all that down.
Okay.
So this is just an ongoing issue for a town like Hadley.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I grew up seeing pictures of 1936 and 1938, and I spent time in tobacco barns that were rebuilt in 1939 after they were blown down by the hurricane. I'm curious as to where things stand with the dike. Does it need any repairs? Is it sufficient? What's your understanding? And those are big questions, but
And you have another very important person here who's been knee deep in it as well with the select board, but yes, there's an ongoing process for this. It's been ongoing since David Nixon was in office. With trying to figure out how we're gonna handle our levee system. I mean, we're even, FEMA's even in the process of doing new flood elevation maps to see where we fall. So
is that still continuing? to
it's
this
still,
day?
it's still underway, yes.
Okay. There's
so-
been a number of changes at FEMA.
It's, it's,
Not
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I live in the floodplain, so I'm very familiar with having to expend, when we first moved in, over $5,000 a year in flood insurance for our house that there was never a claim on it, but it was flooded in
Wow.
1936.
But hasn't since.
Hasn't since,
Thank goodness for that.
and that's most likely as a result of improvements to the levee system. We've had multiple meetings, so Woodward and Curran have been signed on with the town of Hadley to help us develop a plan. And there's multiple tracks, multiple options, but the priority right now is maintenance of the levee system, which is quite expensive on its own. So they've conducted an initial assessment of the levee. They've found its deficiencies based upon projected flood heights where we're probably gonna have to raise the level of it at some point. But we're talking millions and millions of dollars to accomplish this. So right now, we're in maintenance and repair mode. So looking to see if there's critters that are digging into it. Scott McCarthy with the DPW director is, he brings in heavy equipment with extended boom arms to be able to mow it. We can actually get onto the river with our boat if we needed to do inspections. We were doing that when we had the failure, 10, 15 years ago of that 350-foot section at the end of West Street.
Yeah.
So that's basically where we're at right now.
And is there talk of extending the dike to the backside, like the Aquavita side?
That's correct.
So if you look at the, what we have now, the houses that are protected are between the bike path and the north side.
Yeah.
Up to Middle Street. End of story. That's about 18% of Hadley.
So it's like the
Bad.
rest going that way.
So the southern side of West Street, so that's where,
Anything south of Route 9
yes,
and anything on East Street or over, because you've all been down and seen Aquavita Road coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The favorite place people go to see how high the river is.
That's
Yeah.
our annual, our annual challenge is Aquavita, and I can tell you, I've been doing emergency management since 2003 and have seen, one of the, top 11 highest levels. It was 117.11
A few
feet.
years ago, that was.
And that was in 2011. And we were extremely concerned because there were some concerns from the Army Corps of Engineers. They might have to release some additional water up north of us, and that would have put us over the edge. So we were actually preparing for sandbagging. DPW actually helped us build just a dirt berm, just to be cautious. It held, thank God, so it didn't end up going over that. But in 1984, it did go across, and then it also was impacting Route 9 on Russell Street at the Calvin Coolidge Bridge.
Yeah,
So when they redid the bridge, they did elevate that. You see it's elevated more now where the Sportsman's Marina is.
oh, yeah.
So that has prevented that, but that is still a concern there because that's our lifeline to the hospitals and everything else. So basically at this point, we're in a repair and maintenance, and that's phase one. So perform major repairs, you're looking at potentially up to $2.2 million for that. Phase two was a design upgrade of the existing levee system. And then phase three, which you could combine both of them together, that's the evaluation of the new levee on the south side of Bay Road, which would run behind those, right between the fields and the houses.
So some of this has to be, the town has to pony up the money, but some of it also might turn into FEMA money or other things.
Yeah, I was wondering about the,
Regional approach to the river. It isn't
Correct.
just Hadley, it
Right.
isn't just Northampton, it isn't just Hadley.
so is the Army Corps of Engineers involved in that?
Everybody's involved.
Yeah,
When I
they've all
went to
come to
one of
the
those
table.
meetings, the credentials on the table were amazing.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
And I can tell you, you have a very strong advocate with Senator Comerford and
They're looking for money for it all the
And
time.
and
because they
isn't
know the tanks.
Representative McGovern also?
yes, there is a bond bill in right now. And I brought the section of it. I don't know where it's at in.
This is Massachusetts or federal?
Massachusetts,
Okay.
yes. So this has been put forward. It's an act to build resilience for Massachusetts communities. It's a 50+ page document, but I did pull out the sections that include the section 68, which discusses the Connecticut River Valley, and you can have that. But again, we're talking millions of dollars if we were going to try and build that new and repair what we have existing.
So the other piece that I found totally fascinating is, should we keep water from coming into Hadley? We have to give somebody, you have to make compensation because water that doesn't come into Hadley is going to
Go
go
in
to somebody else.
My understanding was that every town has to have some kind of floodplain. Like we can't just shoot it all down.
Yeah, I can tell you that there's basically compensatory storage is huge. That's why new construction in the floodplain, basically you may not be able to, you might not have a basement. Like I can't have a basement in my house because that compensatory storage for the footprint of the house needs to be maintained. I have, there's actual floodgates for windows in my basement.
So this might be a question that's beyond your scopes, but it used to be that you couldn't have a more permanent structure in the honey pot because of flooding and other things, but it does.
Yeah, building new now, it would be really difficult to get a permit to build new. You can build on existing footprints, if it's there, or you can raise it up above flood height. And it's pretty extensive. So, I mean, right now, we have plans in place for if we have, so for example, that the levee failure that we went through, it happened at probably the worst possible time. The contractors were feverishly working on it and had a plan to have it finished prior to the flood season in the spring. And then we had the failure. So it fell into the river, which was it was extremely
Terrible.
scary. So it was all bets were off. We were planning 24/7 on how we were gonna handle, if we had our normal river height. And it was actually when Home Depot was being built. So I had, set up meetings with the contractors that were doing all the excavation there. Great, great company from South Hadley, and they were willing to get all of their equipment over to the fields on the West Street side and just push dirt if we needed. So we were, we were watching flood heights daily, just
What
from,
was this, what year?
this was in
80.
2009, I think, 2009. So we were fortunate. It was a light spring. We were really, really fortunate. So they ended up putting pounding sheeting in to preserve it, and then finally were able to build it up and get it capped. But we had every plan in place from where we were moving people. We had, plans with hotels. We had plumbing, electrical, everybody, how we were gonna manage that, because raw sewage backing up into homes,
Yeah.
taking toilets off and plugging them. So we have those plans ready now,
That's good.
but we are monitoring that levy continuously now.
So, well, my question is, so we're just working, spending our money on maintaining the dike at this point. The group that you're talking about, are they actively working on a plan for the whole area to be improved? Or
Yes.
the
Yes.
work, whatever needs to be done,
Yes.
and it will happen?
It's ongoing. We've had,
Eventually.
they postponed one of the meetings because the Army Corps was unavailable. I think they were dealing with another emergency, but this group has been meeting continuously. So everybody's coming to the table. We have Pioneer Valley Planning Commission
Yeah.
involved with it, helping us with the
The
plans.
first meeting we went to was like 4 years ago.
Is it the Red Jackets? Is that-
Yeah.
They're involved for education and outreach for, putting together.
So it's just, we have to
Public
be
outreach.
patient and just wait to hear when
There,
it's gonna happen.
there's obviously, we've done some of the initial studying of it, so they bored through it to see what it's made of. And again, the biggest thing right now is maintaining it, so it doesn't get any worse. But then again, if this bond bill goes through, if our state legislators can, work together and show that this entire Connecticut River Valley can be
Needs-
impacted.
yeah.
You have Northampton who has, they have floodgates and.
We'll go up the river
Chippewa and
to
Holyoke.
Turner's and Northfield and
Mhm.
yeah.
But all the
Yeah.
dams are coordinated and everybody talks to everybody else. It's really quite impressive.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's actually, we need to pray we don't get a huge flood between now and whenever it gets
It-
vastly improved,
It's
but
continuously a struggle. I mean, even if, I'm more comfortable with the West Street side, the north side of West Street
Yeah.
right now, because we have that levee works. What I get concerned with is, I actually presented to the Council on Aging. But in the winter, sometimes we have some of these really nasty ice flows
Yeah.
yeah,
that can impact that levee system. It's just ripping apart stuff. You can see how the river shifts and changes and everything. So, that's all the stuff that we're monitoring continuously. And again, the south end of West Street is always a concern. So
okay, but at least like we're on it.
we are on it 100%.
So-
Definitely.
Thank you.
It's not an easy fix.
No,
No.
not at all.
No. Okay,
I don't remember all the.
Thanks for coming in and
Yeah.
sharing that.
Sure.
I didn't.
I didn't.
Thank you for
quite-
having me.
We could use the
We should
rain.
add-
Well said.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
Get clarification on the phases. I have phase 1, repair and maintain. What's phase 2?
Phase 2 is, and phase 2 and 3 can be combined together depending on the funding sources, but it's a design upgrade to the existing levee system and then design the new levee system, which will be along that Bay Road side. And then I'm not even gonna tell you the number for constructing them.
Yeah.
'Cause
So phase,
And
what's the
phase
difference
3
between phase
is,
2 and phase 3?
Phase 2 and 3 are just, repairing existing versus building the new section, which would basically secure that whole West Street area on both sides.
okay, got it.
So the difference is, right now, the bike path, the old railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Is the south side of the barrier, so water will
Right.
come up to that. So if you're using phase 3, you don't need to repair that, because it's gonna be south of that and it won't impact it.
Right,
Actually, there's one other thing besides which, climate change right now. You all remember last summer and how dry it was, going into the fall.
In the fall.
Yes.
In the summer was pretty
Summer
wet.
was pretty wet, yes,
Yeah.
but in the fall, we have not seen, fire weather. The lakes that we saw, last fall, and we were getting a little bit antsy. Hopefully we'll get some more
Oh,
rain
because
coming through.
it's been dry here lately.
Yeah, so I mean, we were on high alert for over a month, close to 2 months with multiple deployments. Northampton had a massive fire in a bog. So an
That
area
was,
that you expect to be wet.
Fitzgerald Lake
Yes,
area.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were up to Great Barrington, we were out Central Mass, just because the massive number of firefighters that were needed to try and protect property. Cape Cod was just fighting continuously, and places that you don't normally see this. So my biggest concern is our mountain area, our Skinner Mountain.
Yeah.
So as part of if you have any ideas about. There are a number of groups out there, so we have the bike group, we have the Jeep group, we have the folks that, go down Chmur Road and stuff like that, but. Getting that message out with this shift in climate where we're getting these dry spells like this. Getting word out on how critical is that people are
Fires. Like,
so cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really intriguing to watch the weather because this spring we had, I think, 13 Saturdays in a row
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
all wet.
Yep.
But really, since the middle of July, we've really had no significant rainfall.
Yeah.
It's stunning to be
That
out
drought
there.
monitor's out now.
Yeah.
And you can see that so basically north of us, so Greenfield, Franklin, they're in that drought scale now. We're not there yet,
But happening
yes,
soon. And
yes.
it was a couple years ago that Leverett were dealing with the
Mhm.
big fire on Bushy Mountain.
Yep.
And they
Yeah,
had
we
to
were
call
there
in the state,
Yep. We were there for a week.
helicopters and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering, like, what, I want Smokey the Bear to come back.
I know.
he's back.
He's back.
Like,
Yeah.
I must say that we're very fortunate to have a very proactive, it's DCR, Bureau of Forest Fire Control, so they are continuously doing prescribed burns, trying to burn out some of that underbrush.
Yeah.
But the issue is we have, there's so many of these trees have been impacted by this drought and other issues that there's just like you walk through the woods and branches are, like, we almost lost a couple firefighters because these branches are just coming out down unannounced.
Yeah.
And
Oh, because they're so dry. They're just
so
breaking
dry,
off
like
and-
not even impacted by the fire really, but just so dry and weak that they just, it was terrifying.
So brittle.
Our way of getting information out, well, because of the climate change committee, I mean, I do that as recycling coordinator sometimes, like we have the household hazardous waste day coming up. I use the town front page announcements for things.
okay.
And we can get Jennifer to do like an email blast.
We do that, we do
Yeah.
that if we get into that drought. I was just wondering if you have any ideas for outreach besides that. I mean, we go to Home Depot events and
Cause they manage those trails on the mountain.
a lot of them, yeah.
Well, and don't forget about the trustees of the reservation. And, in all this conversation, I've heard a lot about Hadley Center. I haven't heard much about North Hadley. And, they've dealt with some significant flooding over the years. Think of back in 1984 and things like that.
Warner Lake, from Warner Lake or?
Well, there's
No, the other side by the river.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
came up, and flooded some of the fields there.
Even there was this massive amount of water that came down. I think it was might have been 2011, where all their pumpkins were.
Yeah.
So, in North Hadley, those fields just washed up.
Right. all the
Well,
fields are
and-
floating.
Yeah, and there were more recent issues with flooding just a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
Farmers were dealing that, especially again, that
Aqua
Aquavita, Bay Road area and all that, but so many of these fields will flood. Even if they're not close to the river, they just flood because there's no place for the water to
yeah,
drain.
just from the rain.
Yeah,
Well, so your concern is like smokers or campfires or just
People mowing their lawns. I mean.
that can start a fire.
Hitting
A motorcycle,
hitting a rock
Rock.
with your lawnmower.
put a hot motorcycle down on its side or a dirt bike.
So what, I want you to write it up. You know, what would you want to say to people? You know,
What's the-
We have some, you know, we do the outreach, and again, if you have, and I'd be happy to share what we do have when we have those drought situations, but I was just looking
Yeah.
for if you have any other ideas, and it's great to be able to present this because people are.
Yeah, and that's a good one for us to keep thinking about for
Right.
the future.
I would
Yes,
love for
yes.
you to send us something, like what would you want us to say to people? And then we'll figure out a way to
Communicate it.
What we do is come to, Hot Topics here on the first Thursday of the month, because Heidi is always presenting the fire department's view.
Yeah,
What is
I actually just did one on on emergency preparedness for this kind of stuff, so I can get you that, I can get you that from it. We put together an all hazards program for seniors so that they have a document that they can review. It gives them everything from medical emergencies to file a life to a go bag so that you're prepared if you have to
Yeah.
evacuate
Yeah,
the home,
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that, so.
But we want all the other people, not just seniors, to be aware of super hot things can start a fire.
First and easier to reach population.
Right.
We did do a flyer though, and I'll send that to you too, and you can take a peek at it, but it
Well,
has-
because one thing I'm thinking, we were talking about, one of our members who's not here tonight wanted to do a composting promotion again. And we were thinking about writing up a little survey and putting it in this water sewer bill. And that would go to
Or
every
in the
homeowner.
annual census. That was
Yeah.
another
Something
possibility.
like that. So your, well, your
Put anything in
fire
there.
safety, you know, fire awareness message, we might be able to get it out.
Or even all hazards, because you could include flooding, you could.
Yeah.
I'll show you that. We actually, it was sponsored, this was a number of years ago, but it was sponsored by Staples. They did it for us, but I'll show you, because it actually offered an area for, there was a checklist, like if you were interested in helping us start a CERT team, community emergency
Yeah.
response team, or if you had medical experience, if you were a nurse that could come out and do a max vaccination kind
Well,
of thing.
and it's been absolutely stunning this summer watching the evening news to see how often fires and floods are one of the headline stories,
Right.
almost on a daily
Right.
basis lately.
I don't know, I feel like I've driven through maybe state or national forest where you see a big sign and there's like,
The
Yeah.
fire danger today
right, and they
is,
tell you.
Yep.
And I feel especially since like the students are coming back and we've got kids driving through Hadley and and this time before school actually gets started, they go hiking and biking and all that. Like, is there a way does UMass do any kind of education outreach on this stuff?
Well, I wonder, also at some of the hiking trail entrances, is there a way to do some kind of posting like
Right,
that?
I do have a board there, and that's one thing we were discussing is.
That
maybe
seems like
getting one of
the
those.
best,
Yeah.
like, you know, these are the folks that,
Right, when
They're
you
the
go to the
ones that-
National Seashore, you have that big poster of the shark. And people are like, ugh, but still, it's like,
that
You
seems
need to
like the most
know. it's
effective.
kind of like our shark.
I mean,
That's
we
why
could then.
that's why I asked you if you have any ideas.
That's good.
That-
And I'll send it to
Yeah, yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
big-
Help, because a lot of times,
A
It's
big
like,
smoky bear with we
yeah,
do have it on the station, but maybe that would be a good
well, and
location.
especially if sounds up to date,
Yeah.
like it's
right,
dry right now.
right,
You know,
Right on as you come into Hadley off the bridge.
Right.
on-
right,
Right next to the sign.
Right next to
yes,
Sportsman's Marina,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
or by the Hadley
Should
sign.
or by the Hadley
invest
sign.
in some,
Oh, the
Public
one down there
awareness.
on the north side of Route 9. Where the.
yeah, to like make people, especially the people that are going hiking or on their dirt bikes or, because they're the ones
That's
that
a
would,
different message in fire danger in general.
uh-huh.
If we have
Oh,
some.
yeah, I wonder.
youngsters that like to have fires.
I wonder if UMass will do their celebratory fireworks again this year, or, things like
We
that.
did.
did they do it last year, July, did they do it for July 4th?
Yes, we
Oh, they
we
did.
were there.
Well, I was even thinking the first week that they have students, they usually do a big celebratory event, often with fireworks.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
not really a great time for that.
Maybe not permitted, but.
I'd like to see Smokey the Bear make a renaissance appearance, kind of come back. I really
Well,
would.
he's 80, something like that. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that age.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. It was not mint as any kind of.
That was very
Simple.
effective. I mean, that
Yeah.
stuck with me when I was a kid, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
It was very simple but very like, this is how fires start and.
And the
they're-
story of it is, you know.
Yeah,
was
it's a great
perfect.
story. Yeah, well, the comic book.
Huh.
Yep.
And we all got Smokey the Bear comic books from the fire department when we were going to Hadley
Still hand them
Pool.
out now.
Do you,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
That's great.
They started.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, it's awful.
Wow.
Just-
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
this
mean, now
is
we have
really
somebody
good.
Who's anti.
So I'll send you information and then just any ideas, comments.
Okay,
Love to have your
Excellent.
feedback if you
Yeah,
don't mind.
okay.
no, we're happy to help.
Put our heads together.
Thank you.
Thank you
You all
for
set with
coming.
me?
Yeah, yeah, we are.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much.
So, we're not in a spot where we can approve minutes because we don't have a
I know,
quorum.
what happened to Michael? He said he was coming. Okay, well, we can't approve minutes.
He emailed us, let's see.
Um,
I have an update that's not listed.
what is it?
The final piece for the roof here is being installed tomorrow morning.
Great, thank you.
Oh,
That's super.
Well, you are solar.
That's landfill.
Oh, I did have,
Senior center.
I did have senior center on here and.
Yes.
Why I took it.
So that's being installed tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Then they wait for Wemco to approve.
Eversource.
Eversource.
Oh,
And
so it's not all connected up and running yet.
it's not, can't run until they're willing to accept it, and they couldn't do that until this piece appeared.
Okay, cause I can't wait.
$8,000 piece,
But it's a beautiful system.
it is 197 panels.
I know, I can't wait.
That's
I can't
amazing.
wait to hear you say, we are generating so much electricity.
There's a monitor in the dining room.
Oh, awesome.
That's wonderful.
That's very exciting.
It's on this side, this wall to the hallway.
Oh,
It'll
good.
show exactly what we're doing. So that everybody is
good.
aware of it.
So when is it up and running?
Well, the
What's the-
piece will be on
Yeah.
tomorrow. We're waiting then for the electric company to approve hooking into their system and producing the.
And that can take some time.
Okay.
I'm
I'm just saying very soon.
Yeah,
And this weather, they're looking for as much energy saving as they can with everybody running their ACs.
yeah.
They might just say, oh, because you have a big hit on it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Holy.
So you said Wameco, but you meant Eversource, right?
Yes.
So are we gonna table the discussion of solar on the landfill?
I know, unless Jane can.
I can give you a free. I don't know if you've all seen this. So the final
Oh.
plan.
So has the committee met recently?
So this has
Oh,
been
this is
submitted
good.
to
Okay.
Eversource.
All right.
And
That's the-
Wait, what's she saying?
the person who did this is now doing the next step, which was included in the money that was set aside to do this,
Yeah.
which is the actual calculations.
So this is generally the site plan.
This is a new site plan. They're gonna do a tight.
This is quite an impressive array.
It's much more than the original.
Oh,
Wow.
good.
They're
Back
taking
to
much
you.
more space.
Wow.
We don't really need to have this. We just want to know how it's going.
Yes.
It's going.
Oh,
It's been.
excellent. This is wonderful.
But one hopes it
Okay.
slows down enough till the town gets its.
Now,
its in.
well, a question that came up at our last meeting was someone saying that a local farmer was also trying to really push it through with Eversource, and that might help with the 3-phase.
Right, so, the next plots are also being proposed for this by a farmer, and we could join together. to
With the
get to the
connection.
main line connection, and that would save both of us money,
What a great idea.
It would
Yeah.
save us money.
Let's all work together.
yes. Because there's enough with the new, use for AI and for, Bitcoins. I don't understand Bitcoins, but I'm told they take a huge amount of electricity to produce.
Yes.
Oh,
'Cause they're
the
constantly
energy
mining.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
the-
AI
the-
too.
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
the AI is,
Yep.
That
uses
We-
huge amounts.
we don't produce now. I mean, they used to tell you to turn your air conditioner off. It's like a drop in the bucket compared to what's being.
AI, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
gigantic.
well, and also we've had a summer with 25 days above 90.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that didn't happen just a few years ago.
Solar
Yeah.
off one day, they
Yeah.
took the temperature was 139 degrees.
Oof.
Oh, God.
Thanks for that update. That's really helpful. And does it seem like we have to table composting promotion for now?
Well, I don't have anything to say
Yeah.
about it. Do you?
No.
Okay.
Jane, can I just ask you for clarification? So we have these pages. What's the next step?
So
From,
the next step is, we're getting a detailed analysis of this. This was a general
Yeah.
presentation to the electric company.
So this would be of how much electricity it would produce?
This would be the dollars and cents, the inputs, the outputs.
Sense
Okay.
will
Okay,
help us.
All right.
okay, good, excellent. So
so
we'll
we're
table-
moving along here,
we'll
it's
table
slow, but we're
Yeah.
getting there.
tabled for next meeting.
And, a possible topic for an upcoming meeting would be plastics. I mean, it's just in the news all the time. And it's interesting because I've seen that some of the two largest sources of plastic pollution come from polyesters. Clothing when you wash and things like that, and it gets into the water, and also tires breaking
Yeah,
down.
I didn't, I would have never really thought about tires.
Hmm.
Well, I wasn't
And
really
they wear
thinking.
up on the road, that's why you're.
Well, I didn't know tires were made out of polyester.
Some of it.
Well, I think they're made out of plastic in general. I think plastic is
They're
part of the
not
tire
latex.
puzzle. I don't know. I
Didn't
don't know
tires
enough
used to
about
be
tire.
latex?
They're now a blend,
Yeah.
like everything else.
Okay,
So how do we declare that this meeting we didn't have a quorum?
Like I said,
Okay,
Right, so
we just put it at the top of the meeting minutes. Okay.
I guess. Yeah, when we say who was here and who wasn't here, and do we have to make the statement, it wasn't a quorum?
Oh, I think we should.
Okay.
I wonder if Nick is close by. Oh, sleeping. You are close by. Wow, that's,
Yeah, I saw him come in.
okay.
So will you be here next time?
as far as I know, I have to,
And next meeting is on September 11th.
I just look,
Let me see.
I think that's right.
oh, I may not be here.
Is that related to any holidays or things like
I
that?
may be out of town.
Yeah.
I may be out of town, but hopefully somebody else can take
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay. I don't know what she said about hot topics.
Oh, just as somebody sharing that at their Hot Topics discussion. I think the Council on Aging has that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, can we adjourn now? And then we can,
Mhm.
sure. Do we want to make a motion? Well, although,
I think one of you has to.
so
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at, it looks like 8:12.
Hey, you want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay, meeting adjourned.